Hey guys, Sublord here, back again with another review, and today we'll be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman, the Three Jokers, the Clown, and the Criminal. And before we get into it here, let us first take a look-see at both the front and the back of the packaging. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now before we get into the meat and taters of this review, the Clown and the Criminal both come with collectible trading cards. One for the Clown and one for the Criminal, respectively. There are also bios on the back that you can pause and read at your own leisure. But long story short, if you don't know who the Joker is, you living under a rock, son. That said, the whole thing with Three Jokers is... Switch over to this one now. The whole thing with Three Jokers is these two are imposter Jokers, and I believe the comedian that I took a look at around Christmas time is the actual Joker, and he teams up with Batman to help bring these guys down. So kind of interesting there. I don't think the Death in the Family exclusive Joker, I think it's a Walmart exclusive, has anything to do with this line, but you know, you could throw them in there if you want. Never have too many Jokers. That said, I'm not entirely sure if this is photography of these figures or if it's artwork from the source material, because they do Photoshop the hell out of their photos nowadays, so that's kind of interesting. But moving on from all that, let's take a look at the actual accessories for these figures. Starting off with the Clown, comes with a crowbar. Because, you know, Joker's known for beating the snot out of people with a crowbar, not a giant hammer. Which I think would have been a little bit more comical and more fitting of the Clown, but whatever. And he also comes with a little fish. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Which is kind of funny, because I just took a look at the DC Classics Wave 10 Joker, who also came with a fish like this. Okay, maybe I did that a few months ago now, but you know what I mean. Within the past year. That's the Clown. And then the Criminal comes with this awesome pimp cane. You can smack you upside the head with. That's all he comes with, though. He kind of gets the short end of the stick. Everyone else got two accessories. He only got the one. He didn't even get a big, oversized knife. That was reserved for the Mortal Kombat 11 Joker. That said, a lot of people like the Clown from this line, and I get it. It's a classic Joker and kind of reminds me of Joaquin Phoenix. But I gotta tell you, I prefer the Criminal of these two. My favorite's still the comedian. Don't get it twisted. The head sculpt on that thing is intense and kind of terrifying. That said, the Criminal does give me a little bit of Jack Nicholson vibes, so we're actually going to focus on him for the majority of this review. I will bring the Clown out a little later so we can take a closer look at him. But the reason I am doing both of these in the same video is because they're essentially the same figure with a different coat, like on the torso. Other than that, they're exactly the same. Oh, and the heads are different too. Of course, they both come with the hockey puck display stand, which we're used to seeing in this line. But as far as articulation on these guys go, it's the same on both. It's just a little bit more hindered on this guy because of his coat. But they have the double ball peg in the head so they can look up and down. Pretty well, mind you. Tilt side to side, look side to side, all that noise. Shoulders go out to the side, pretty stiff. Ooh, that just happened. There we go. And do some on-cam surgery there. That said, I did not know they had the little washers in there. So maybe if you pop these out, you might be able to put their arms down a little better, because they are a little tricky as far as that goes. They do have a little bit of the Randy from A Christmas Story syndrome, and the fact that can't put their arms down. Not all the way anyways. But they do rotate. Do hinge out and back down, which I'm not going to pop the arm off again just to show that. It's got a bicep swivel, double joint at the elbow, which, yeah, doesn't look great, but yeah, it's not the worst. Pretty tight joints on these guys, too, with the exception of some of the elbows. Pretty well done there. Then they got the ball hinge wrists. If you want them to be holding accessories, you're going to want this side to be hinged up and down, because that's how it should be. But they do rotate on both ends there. They do have a fair amount of crunch. I mean, considering this guy's got a coat that goes over his entire torso, he gets better crunch than some Marvel Legends with coats. So that is impressive. I'll give him that. Maybe crunch back. And he does rotate around a bit. That said, I think he does have an... Does he have an upper torso joint? I thought he did. He kind of does, but it's pretty hindered. You get most of it in the waist, which is fine, because that's about where the abs are anyways. Right here, this kind of midsection here, that's where you're going to get a lot of your range. It's pretty soft and kind of open there. As far as the hips go, they kick out to the side. Okay. Kick back down, they kick forward and back. He does have a little bit of a quiver, the thigh cut there. Double joint at the knee. Ooh. Pretty stiff there. Got some pointed kneecap action going on, which isn't ideal, but it's not terrible. At least there are no cliffs of Dover going on this guy. Does have a hinge in the foot with the rocker, and swivel in the top, and the toe joint, which actually locks into place in neutral position on this guy. I don't know about the clown. Look at him in a second, but they also have the peg holes on the bottom of the feet for the display stands, which this guy is kind of loose on his. I don't know what's up with that, but it is what it is. Looking at that face sculpt, though, look at that face. Very serious and very stoic, stern as far as the Joker goes. And I like that a lot. That's different for me anyways. I don't have a whole lot of Jokers that look like this. Definitely giving me more of a Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger vibe, which is awesome. So if you're going to do a serious Joker, then try something like that. Now we have the clown, and articulation's exactly the same on this guy, of course. He's got the same base body, and he does have locked-in toe joints. That is nice. That said, he's got a little bit more range in the torso, considering the fact that his coat is open. And I will say, this is just on mine, hopefully, but the little diaper piece, this whole thing is actually the diaper piece, is warped from being strapped into the package, I believe. The little clear tie wrapped around his waist here kind of warped mine, so it's indented here, which isn't ideal. I'm not too fond of that, but it is what it is. I've tried to warp it, but nothing seems to really work. So it's gonna stuck like that unless I crunch him forward and maybe try and fix it that way. That said, he can put his arms down a little better than the other one, I will say. As far as that head sculpt goes, that is definitely a classic inspired Joker if I've ever seen one. Definitely reminds me of Cesar Romero or Joaquin Phoenix, this version. So that's cool. This guy's a little flower there. And a funny thing, his coat is actually not glued on. Usually these coats are glued on. This one is not. So my guess is that's something to do with the reuse. But I don't know. Because this guy and the comedian share the base body, the bare bones base body, but the comedian does have different arms and of course a different coat, and actually I think has the same head as this Joker, just with the top cut off and a hat glued on top. But that's that, man. If you're like me and collecting the 3 Jokers line, then of course you gotta buy these. If not, the best one I still say is the comedian, but he is sold out. So, you know, if you can only pick one of these, And if you could still get them for half price like I did, which is a killer deal, I would highly recommend you pick your favorite and go with that. Unless you want them all, then get them all. You know, we don't judge here. I bought them all. Kind of wish I had the Batman from this line, but it is what it is. Missed out on him, I think. I don't know if he sold out, but I didn't get him on sale like these two. I think they also have Batgirl and Red Hood, if I'm not mistaken. I wouldn't mind picking those up at some point, but it is what it is, I suppose. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is the Clown and the Criminal next to the closest thing I have to the Three Jokers Batman, the Rebirth Batman, and, of course, my favorite Joker from this Three Jokers line, the Comedian. And as I said before, face sculpt on that thing, or at least the paint, because again, I think it's reused from the Clown. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legions, Brother Mandibulus, and 11th Spawn, as usual, towers over everyone. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and of the three Jokers figures I've taken a look at on this channel, I have to say that my favorite is still the GameStop exclusive Comedian because of the paint applications on that thing's face sculpt. They're absolutely immense, and sometimes even terrifying. I mean, have you seen that thing lately? That said, these two aren't too shabby though. I see a lot of people gravitating towards the Clown because it's a more classic style Joker, but I gotta be honest with you, I really like the Criminal. Maybe it's because my collection is lacking in more stoic and serious looking Joker figures, but that figure is just doing something for me. Even though he does come with less accessories, I mean, he doesn't come with a fish, he comes with a cane, and not a crowbar. Let's be real here, they could all come with more accessories. More is always better. And as collectors, we always want more. I gotta be honest with you, I think I prefer the Criminal to the Clown here. I like the Clown, don't get it twisted, but I have a lot of classic Joker figures already. And I just like the more subdued look of the Criminal. I like the black suit, I like the more serious facial expression he's got going on. I just think he's the more tough and badass looking Joker figure of the two sitting before you. So with that being said, if you're like me, you want to complete your three Jokers lineup, then this is a no-brainer. You absolutely need to pick up both of these figures if you want to complete that lineup. But if you want to only pick up one, I would still recommend the Comedian because that is still by far the most, I'll just say it, terrifying Joker figure I think I have. I mean, that face sculpt, man. Ugh. So that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil. The world sucks enough as it is, especially when people are trying to steal your identity like these two Jokers right here. See what I did there? Either way, you know how it is. It's just a bad day, man. Until next time, catch you guys later.